What if you've been worshiping all along? What if your daily habits, your so-called neutral routines, were in fact liturgies? And what if those liturgies were forming your soul into something less than what you were created to be? We don't think of ourselves as idolaters. We don't think of ourselves as idolaters. That word feels ancient, foreign, archaic. It evokes images of primitive shrines, golden calves and incense rising before lifeless statues. But what if idolatry never disappeared, only evolved? What if the altar simply migrated into your pocket, your career, your relationships? What if you've been bowing, kneeling, offering sacrifices, but you didn't know it? Their idols are silver and gold, the work of human hands. They have eyes that do not see. Psalm 115:4-5. Each scroll, each swipe, each dopamine ping. What if it's more than a habit? What if it's a ritual? What if the glowing device in your hand is no less than a digital tabernacle, a false one, constantly catechizing your desires, subtly reshaping your imagination? Do you realize how much you've been formed? Not by scripture or sacred tradition, but by algorithms, ads, and artificial longings. We like to believe we are rational agents, but beneath the surface, we are all lovers. We are directed by our desire, pulled by the gravity of what we worship. And worship we do ceaselessly. The only question is, what sits on the throne of your heart? Augustine was right. Our hearts are restless until they rest in thee. But restlessness has many disguises. It doesn't always look like prayer or pilgrimage. Sometimes it looks like careerism. Sometimes it looks like obsessive self-improvement. Sometimes, most tragically, it looks like endless distraction. It looks like endless distraction. Could it be that our greatest sins aren't acts of rebellion, but acts of replacement? We haven't rejected God. We've substituted Him. We substitute eternal beauty with curated Instagram aesthetics. We substitute divine intimacy with the fleeting warmth of a hookup. We substitute genuine community with parasocial interactions and digital applause. And yet, we are exhausted, soul thin, aching in the marrow of our being. If we're getting everything we chase, why are we still so hollow? Here's the terrible genius of idolatry. It offers the form of religion without the risk. A God who won't contradict you. A God who affirms your every instinct. A God you can summon with a click or silence with a swipe. Do you want the true God? Or just a divine reflection of yourself? True worship is dangerous. It transforms you. But idols, they flatter. They conform to you. They require nothing. And leave you with less than nothing. It is no accident that modern idols promise transcendence without surrender, fame without accountability, pleasure without commitment, freedom without sacrifice. But is that really freedom? Or a beautifully packaged prison? Ambition is not evil, but when it becomes ultimate, it enslaves. Ask yourself, is your identity anchored in God's image? Or in your resume? Do you rest in your belovedness? Or only feel worthy when you're productive? Has your life become one long performance review? For an audience that keeps changing, the workplace is now a temple. The title, a priestly robe. The salary, a sacrament. And burnout, it is the inevitable collapse of a soul trying to be omnipotent. Have you been trying to become your own savior? We live in an age where the selfie is more than a photo. It's a statement of identity. We curate, we filter, we polish the surface. But beneath it all is an anxious soul, desperate to be seen, desperate to be loved. Are you trying to be admired? Because you're afraid you can't be loved as you are. The cult of image has become a spiritual pandemic. And the worst part, the more we chase visibility, the more invisible we feel to ourselves. To be loved for a mask is to be unloved in the deepest way. Modernity worships feeling. If it feels good, it must be right. But pleasure, divorced from purpose, decays into despair. The endless pursuit of sensation numbs us. We become connoisseurs of stimulation, but novices in intimacy. How many of us use pleasure to anesthetize a pain we refuse to name? From pornography to binge watching, our pleasures have become a refuge from reality. Watching, our pleasures have become a refuge. But these idols always overpromise and underdeliver. They leave us more hungry, more lonely, more fragmented. What is a follower worth? How many likes does it take to feel enough? Social media promised connection, but delivered comparison. And comparison always breeds either pride or self-loathing, never peace. Are you living for applause that disappears when you close the app? We weren't meant to be worshipped. When we seek admiration, we place a crushing weight on our fragile souls. Only God can sustain glory. We cannot. God is not jealous like a narcissist. He is jealous like a lover whose beloved is wasting away on counterfeit affections. You shall have no other gods before me. Not because he's insecure, but because we are. God's command is not tyranny. It's rescue. It's the cry of a father watching his child drink poison while mistaking it for wine. Have you mistaken God's no for a restriction, when it's actually a fierce act of love? Behind every false worship lies a true desire. You don't worship fame because you're evil. You long to be known. You don't chase pleasure because you're weak. You long for joy. You don't cling to productivity because you're shallow. You want your life to matter. You want your life to matter. The problem is not the longing. It's the direction. What if every idol is a deformed echo of Eden? A dim memory of the one you were made for. The only way to dethrone idols is not with willpower, but with worship. The heart must be captivated by something greater. Someone greater. Someone greater. Someone greater. They became what they worshipped, says the psalmist. But the reverse is also true. Worship Christ, and you become whole. You become real. You become real. You become free. Jesus is not just a better idol. He is the antidote to idolatry. He doesn't consume your soul. He heals it. He doesn't demand sacrifices of your peace. He becomes the sacrifice. At the cross, all false gods are unmasked. Power, pleasure, popularity, all are stripped away. And what remains? A broken body, a pierced heart, a love that dies to free you. You are a worshiper. That is not up for debate. The only question is, who or what receives your worship? Is it the God who made you for love and eternity, or the gods who will use you, drain you, and discard you? The choice is before you. The heart must choose a master. Choose carefully, because you will become what you behold. If this stirred something within you, if the questions unsettled you, it is not condemnation, it is invitation. Come back to the source. Return to the one your heart has been seeking through every counterfeit. Let your restlessness find its home in the divine. Like, share, comment, but more than that, reflect. Reorient. Because the idols may glitter, but only the cross redeems. Theological foundation. The anatomy of idolatry. Consider the audacity of it. To trade the infinite for the finite, the eternal for the ephemeral. Augustine called it existential misdirection. But isn't it more than just a mistake? Isn't it more than just a mistake? Isn't it a fundamental betrayal of our very being? We are creatures designed for the boundless, yet we tether ourselves to the trivial. Why this relentless downgrade? What primal fear drives us to seek solace in the shadows when the light itself beckons? Look at these relics of the past. Stone gods, wooden deities. We see them now as primitive curiosities. But dare we examine our own altars with the same unflinching gaze? These sleek devices we clutch, these emblems of status we covet, are they not our modern-day totems? The psalmist scoffed at idols that cannot speak. But what of the algorithms that curate our realities, feeding us tailored narratives that subtly shape our desires, our fears, our very identities? Don't they speak a language more insidious because it feels so intimately ours? In the eyes that cannot see. Social media's gaze is relentless, omnipresent. It sees our triumphs and our failures, our joys and our vulnerabilities. But does it truly see us, or does it merely reflect a distorted image? A carefully curated facade we desperately try to maintain. Are we not sacrificing our authentic selves at the altar of public opinion? Offering up our privacy, our peace of mind, for the fleeting validation of strangers? These modern Molochs, as you see them juxtaposed with their ancient counterparts, demand not burnt offerings of flesh and blood, but something far more insidious. Our time, our attention, the very currency of our lives. We scroll endlessly, seeking connection, seeking meaning. Yet, what do we receive in return? A fleeting dopamine rush, a gnawing sense of inadequacy, a profound and echoing numbness. Is this the transcendence our hearts truly yearn for? This digital anesthesia that dulls the ache of our spiritual hunger? Augustine's cry echoes across the centuries. Our hearts are restless until they rest in thee. But have we even recognized our own restlessness? Have we mistaken the frantic energy of our digital lives for true vitality? Could it be that this constant connection is in fact a profound disconnection from ourselves, from each other, and from the very source of our being? What if the silence we so desperately avoid holds the very answers we so frantically seek in the noise? We so frantically seek in the noise. Modern installations of ancient idols. Look closely at this image. The stark contrast between the focused intensity of the boardroom and Augustine's solitary contemplation. Two worlds centuries apart. Yet are they not both arenas of profound human striving? We speak of career success as ambition, as drive. But strip away the veneer of professional jargon. Isn't it, at its core, a relentless pursuit of validation, a desperate yearning to be seen, to be valued, and by whom? By a system that often measures worth in quarterly earnings and fleeting accolades, we sacrifice at this altar of career. The quiet moments with loved ones become collateral damage. The body's whispers of exhaustion are ignored. The subtle tug of conscience is silenced. For what? A bigger title? A larger number in a bank account? Can these truly fill the God-shaped void within us? Can they answer the soul's profound and persistent cry for meaning, for purpose that transcends the temporal and the transactional? John Chrysostom spoke of sluggish responses to grace. A chilling phrase, isn't it? Could it be that our relentless pursuit of worldly approval, this craving for the fleeting applause of colleagues and superiors, is actually a form of spiritual paralysis? Are we so intoxicated by the counterfeit favor of culture that we become deaf to the whispers of divine grace, blind to the true source of our worth? Consider the golden calf, a dazzling spectacle, a symbol of immediate, tangible power. It captivated the Israelites in their impatience. Are our modern idols, the corner office, the luxury car, the curated online persona, any different They shimmer with the promise of fulfillment, of security, of belonging. But beneath the glittering surface, what lies? Emptiness, a gnawing dissatisfaction that no amount of achievement can truly quell. In the quiet darkness of that room, illuminated only by the cold blue light of the screen, lies a question that should pierce the soul. What silent, often unconscious demands does your idol make? What precious parts of yourself are you offering up in its service? And be brutally honest, what authentic, lasting sustenance has it ever truly given in return? Has it brought you closer to your true self? Has it deepened your connection to something larger than yourself? Or has it merely left you chasing shadows, perpetually hungry for a satisfaction that forever remains just out of reach? The spiritual consequences, a hollow transcendence. Let's amplify the narrator's voice here, imbuing it with a sense of profound spiritual urgency and intellectual provocation. Look at this sprawling cityscape, a million tiny lights piercing the darkness, each one a beacon of human striving, a testament to our relentless pursuit of what, exactly? Augustine's words cut through the noise. Idolatry is not just a moral failing, it is utter absurdity. Imagine a lover embracing a mere shadow, mistaking its fleeting form for the warmth and substance of the sun. Is this not precisely what we do when we fixate on the ephemeral, the contingent? We chase the fleeting high of a promotion, the superficial validation of likes, the hollow applause of prestige. We pour our energy, our very life force into these pursuits, believing they will somehow fill the unfillable void. But ask yourselves with unflinching honesty, can these paper accolades truly bless us? Can they offer forgiveness for our failings, redemption for our brokenness? Can they look into the depths of our being and offer the unconditional love that our souls desperately crave? Bishop Barron speaks with piercing clarity. Idols are incapable of love. Think about that for a moment. These things we elevate, these metrics we obsess over, they are fundamentally transactional. They offer conditional approval, fleeting satisfaction, but never the deep, abiding love that nourishes the human spirit. One we pour out our devotion and receive only a cold, indifferent silence in return. Is this not the ultimate cosmic joke? A tragicomedy played out on the stage of our own lives. Consider this chilling paradox. Idols promise autonomy, a sense of being in control, of shaping our own destiny. But what is the fruit of this pursuit? Addiction. We become enslaved to the very things we thought would liberate us. The relentless need for more, the gnawing anxiety of losing what we've gained. The algorithm becomes our master, our insecurities, our chains. Where is the promised freedom in this gilded cage and the ultimate deception? Idols simulate transcendence. They offer a fleeting sense of elevation, a temporary escape from the mundane. The rush of a new purchase, the validation of online approval. These mimic the feeling of something more, something beyond. But beneath the surface, the soul remains starved, yearning for a nourishment that no earthly idol can provide. It's like drinking salt water to quench a spiritual thirst. The immediate sensation might trick us, but the underlying dehydration only worsens. So, I ask you, what shadows are you clinging to? What false suns are you worshiping? And what will it take for you to turn towards the true light, the source of all love and lasting fulfillment? The source of all love and lasting fulfillment. Redirection. From restlessness to resurrection. Chrysostom's solution is radical. Direct your anger at the sin, not the sinner. 5. Let this same fire purify our misdirected desires. Augustine's restless heart finds its restless heart. finds its restless heart, finds its rest only in the summum bonum. Look at this desert sunrise, painting the vast emptiness with hues of hope. Even in desolation, a new beginning. And see those cross-shaped shadows stretching across the sand. A stark reminder of a love that conquered even death. Chrysostom, with his profound wisdom, offers a radical path. Direct your anger at the sin, not the sinner. But can we extend that same fierce clarity to our own lives? Can we direct our righteous anger, not at the external world, but at the insidious idols we ourselves have erected within the landscapes of our minds? Let the fire of that righteous anger not consume us, but purify our misdirected desires. Those yearnings for validation, for control, for fleeting pleasure, can we see them for what they are? Desperate cries for a love we've been seeking in all the wrong places. Augustine's restless heart, a mirror to our own, found its ultimate rest, not in earthly achievements or human praise, but in the summum bonum, the highest good, who is love itself. Can we truly believe that such a love exists? A love that doesn't demand our constant striving, but freely offers solace and belonging? What if the very restlessness we feel is not a curse, but a compass, relentlessly pointing us towards this ultimate source of peace? Consider the courage it takes to dismantle the carefully constructed altars within us. The altars of ambition, of appearance, of approval. These are the sacred spaces where we offer our time, our energy, our very selves to false gods. What terrifying emptiness might we face in their destruction? And yet, what unimaginable freedom might await us when grace steps in to rebuild, to create a sanctuary, not for fleeting idols, but for the enduring presence of the divine. Think about the very act of erasing that social media app. A small symbolic gesture, yet potentially seismic in its implications. What would fill the void? What conversations might we finally have? Not with screens, but with souls? What silence might we finally embrace, allowing the still, small voice to be heard above the cacophony of the digital world? Can we risk disconnecting from the counterfeit connections to discover a deeper, more authentic communion? The antidote to the poison of idolatry is not a grim austerity, a joyless denial of earthly pleasures. No, the antidote is adoration, a radical reorientation of our hearts towards the one who is truly worthy of our worship. For the profound and unsettling truth is this: we become what we worship. If we bow before the fleeting and the false, our spirits will inevitably wither and shrink. But if we choose the God who first chose us, the God whose voice speaks with a love that silences the clamor of the idols, whose light outshines every deceptive gleam, what might we become? What boundless potential might be unlocked within us? The idols promise power, but deliver only dependence. They whimper of significance, but leave us feeling profoundly insignificant. Choose the God who sees your inherent worth, whose love is not conditional, but unwavering. Choose the voice that speaks truth to your deepest longings, the light that illuminates the path towards genuine and lasting fulfillment. Let this sink in. Idols crumble. The empires they build turn to dust. The validation they offer fades like a fleeting shadow. But the word, the very essence of divine love and truth, endures. Which foundation will you build your life upon? The shifting sands of worldly approval, or the unshakable rock of eternal love, or the unshakable rock of eternal love? This journey into the heart of our modern idols and the timeless yearning for true transcendence has only just begun. If the profound questions raised about your own restless heart have resonated with you, we warmly invite you to become a part of the Hope in God community. Dare to dismantle the altars within your mind alongside us. Subscribe for more unflinching explorations of faith and life. Share your own moments of awakening from the illusions of this world, and let us walk together, step by challenging step, towards the only love that truly satisfies. Click that subscribe button now. Share this crucial message with those whose hearts might also be searching, and leave a comment with your own reflections. What idols are you beginning to see in your life? Your voice matters in this shared pilgrimage towards genuine hope.